and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. So today's video is going to be homeschool specific, our 2024 recap and then 2025 plans. I will have a separate video of a January recap where I will do homeschool and personal, but for this specific video, it is going to be strictly homeschool. So 2024 was a bit of a wild ride. If you are new to my channel, we started our homeschool year in July because we were buying our new home that we are in now. We bought it in September. So though we bought the home in September, we weren't able to move in until October just due to renovation type things that we were doing in this house. And prior to our move, like 2 weeks before our move, my husband and I went on an anniversary trip. So knowing that specifically September and October were going to be very hectic, I had started our school year in July. That was purposeful because I wanted to be able to take a large chunk of time off, just completely off, and not have to focus on anything except for the house. And that was really helpful. I figured if we did anything, I would write in what we were able to accomplish during our break time, and that worked out really well. We honestly ended up just really taking even more time, and luckily things just worked out that we were able to do that, especially since I didn't have any big breaks planned around the holidays, just knowing that we would already have taken so much time off. I do live in Pennsylvania, so I do have to keep track of our homeschool hours or days, so it is important that I make sure to meet the requirements by the state. I will make sure to link the first grade curriculum just in case you are new and you don't know necessarily what we used in 2024. Just make sure you check the description for that link. I'll also have my blog post linked because I did a separate post about what we were using for first grade. Something that was new in 2024 that we have enjoyed but have been going through very slowly was core knowledge language arts. We really do enjoy core knowledge language arts, but I do find that the lessons can be long. So we are not doing it every day. I am spreading it out, fitting it in when we can, mostly because Pinwheels is a language arts program. I am doing 2 language arts programs at this time, so I am more focused on Pinwheels, and I just fit core knowledge in when we can. I don't want our days to feel too long, and my daughter already is a slow worker, and I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. She takes her time, and I'm okay with that. But for that reason, I don't want to add too many things to make our days really long. I'm just using my planner checklist for reference. We got through 2 of the 11 domains, so that is what I mean when I say we are working through it very slowly. This is not a curriculum that I plan on working through completion with. If we complete it, which I really don't think we will, then that's great, but it is not something where I feel we have to hit every single domain. So we are on domain 3 right now. As I said, there are 11. I had stopped doing this when I did focus on our civics domain, and as I said in that video where I talked about it, we didn't love it, but we got through it. But we ended up not doing core knowledge language arts while we did the civics one. And as I said in that video, I would not use the civics domain again. Domain basically means unit for this curriculum, but I would not do that one again. Something that we had dropped very early in our school year was first language lessons. That was nothing against the curriculum, it just ended up being too much. That would have had us basically doing 3 language arts curriculum type things at once. And I don't know why I thought to do that, but it really wasn't the best idea. We ended up not sticking with it. And I figured we could jump back on it once things settled down more with what we were using. So I do think we might be able to pick first language lessons back up. The reason I say that is we don't have too many more lessons in Torchlight. It looks like she's going to finish math earlier than I had planned, and we are just right on schedule with science. So if we do end up finishing anything early, I do have a little bit of space to add that back in. I don't know that I will. I might just allow us to enjoy the break of not having more things. But if we do find that we would like to add something in, if I see that she can handle that, then we will do that. I had planned to go in order of my checklist, but I have been bouncing all over the place. So I think I'm going to go into Torchlight next. So Torchlight is something we've been using for 2 years. The curriculum is a 36-week curriculum, but what I did is I devoted 2 weeks to each of the units. So my plan was to use it kindergarten and first grade. What I have found is now that we are more used to the curriculum, it is a little easier for us to get through 1 week in 1 week. I don't necessarily have to drag it out to 2 weeks so that we're fitting everything in. On top of that, I have found that a lot of the weeks or units that we're in right now are one country. When it is 3, 5 different countries that we were tackling, I didn't really feel that it was like fair to Alani or even just the countries we were studying to blow through them in a week. So it was nice to be able to spread it out. But I don't necessarily find that we have needed to spend 2 weeks on these most recent units because they have just been one country and 1 week has been long enough. For that reason, we only have about 8 weeks left, so 8 units. And I think that since not all of those will have to be spread out over 2 weeks, we will finish that before our quote unquote end of school year, which I kind of make around that Memorial Day time. And again, I planned that out based on just making sure we hit the number of days needed for the state requirements. One of the things that we really haven't continued with is our Torchlight map. So if you had watched last year when we did kindergarten, there was a map where we were keeping track of everything. During the move, that ended up somewhere, and I honestly don't know where it is. So we haven't been keeping track on our map, which I really did love, and we put a lot of work into it, but we have been keeping track in her journal. So for the 2024 school year, we started keeping a journal, and I love that because it is just one place. She has the flag there, she has the fact that she wants to write about the country, and then I allow her to add in a picture that goes with the fact that she writes. So that has been a really fun thing that we added into the 2024 school year that we will definitely continue until the end of this Torchlight curriculum. Math has also been going great. The one thing that we will continue to work on in 2025 is word problems. Alani is quick to solve, but when it comes to the application of what she has learned in math within a word problem, that's when it starts getting confusing for her. So I could put a bunch of number sentences and she'll solve them, but when she has to actually apply that knowledge to solving within a word problem, that's when it gets a little bit trickier for her, which is understandable. That's nothing that surprises me, but that is something that I want to continue to work on. So I do use Zern. I let her do that more independently because I keep the lesson that she's working on in Zern further back than the lesson that we are working on within the math curriculum. So that's something she's doing independently, but I think I'm going to add IXL in just for specifically for word problems for her to get that additional practice. I have nothing against using technology in our school settings, so when I can, I will bring in different things. Alani does enjoy doing that, so I will do that, but I'm also thinking of doing kind of like a morning start word problem. That way there is something that she is working on. Like, I don't know if I'll put it on the board or what I will do with that, maybe a slideshow type setup. But I do want her to get that additional practice. I haven't decided exactly how to do it yet, but I do have a few ideas. I have been completely failing when it comes to art. We got through one of the art units. Alani loved it, we all loved it, but it became one of those things that got put on the back burner as we were trying to make sure that we were caught up with everything else after our long break. So I want more art in 2025. That is a goal. I want to make sure that we are getting those different art units in because I think they're really fun. They're also something that Emmy is able to join in on. So that is a goal for 2025 for sure. More art. And that doesn't mean that we're not doing arts and crafts type stuff outside of it, but I actually just want her to understand elements of art and those types of things. So the specific curriculum that I purchased is what I want her to also be doing. I had said that I wanted to start Alani with piano or keyboard, but that is something else that we haven't done. We did our Peter and the Wolf like mini unit, and that was fantastic. That was absolutely great. but she really has not gotten any practice on the keyboard. We didn't end up buying one, so that is the biggest thing. I think that might be more of a 2025 thing. I don't know when we will get it, but with the only keyboard access being at my grandmother's house, that's just not enough time to practice. So when we get one, that's when she can start learning. The last thing for Alani that I'm gonna talk about before getting into Emmy is science. So Sunlight Science has been new to us in the 2024 school year. We have been enjoying it. It has been fun. That is something that I think we're pretty much on track with. Yeah, so at this point we are halfway through. So that is good. We will be able to get through everything. I'm not a full completionist. I very much feel that anything that we don't get done, we'll just continue working on in the summer. But I do actually think that we will be done this before Memorial Day. I hate to admit it, but even with the Sunlight Science kit, I have not been as good with doing the science projects. So there is another 2025 goal. I hate to admit it, but we really do have to get better with actually completing the science experiments. I think I called them projects, but the science experiments, we really do have to get better at doing those. And by we, I mean me. I have to get better at making sure that those are set up and ready to go so that we can get them done. I had started to do a science Saturday, but Saturdays have really just become such a time where we are just working on as much as we can around this house. As you can see, there's barely anything around me because I haven't even finished anything upstairs when it comes to my office, workspace. We just still have a lot to do. About last week was when we finished the last of the renovations that we're going to be doing for a while. So there has still been a lot going on, but I really don't think it's fair to the girls that we haven't been doing the really fun part of science. So that is something that I'm gonna get better at. That is something that we are gonna do in 2025. All right, so that wraps up first grade with Alani for the 2024 recap and what we plan to do with 2025. Let's get into Emmy, a lot more simple because she's really not doing a ton. So I started her a lot later. I pulled her in and she was doing little things, but when it came to actually focusing on a little bit more with her, we started a lot later. I have not started any of the curriculum that I had wanted to do. So the playing preschool curriculum, I still have not started with her, but we have been doing other things. So she has her numbers and her letter tracing boards that we've been doing. She has the early explode the code books that we've been working on. And she also has Zern. She's been doing the kindergarten Zern and really having good success with that. And so those are the things that we have been focusing on, and she really enjoys it. She honestly wants to do more and more. So I do feel like now that we are in a little bit more of a rhythm, maybe I will be able to add more. I don't really want to set a goal of starting her curriculum in 2025 because it really doesn't matter. At this stage, it's more about the playing and bringing her along with some of the things that Alani's already doing. So if I start the playing preschool curriculum, that's great, but if not, I'm really not that concerned. So I don't want to set it as a goal, but it is something that might happen in 2025. I think that's it for our 2024 recap though when it comes to actual homeschool. And if you have any questions, please make sure to leave them in the comments section. I really loved how our homeschool year is going. I really have loved how our homeschool room is coming together as well. I will make sure to have a tour up at some point this year, but it is not yet done. And honestly, it'll probably change a million more times. But that is going to be it for this video. If you are new to my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for your support. I will see you in the next video. Bye.